What is that over there? Welcome back, everybody, to Phil's Recap and Review. I'm Phil, the Issues Guy. This is for Game of Thrones, Season 2, Episode 3. What is dead may never die. What is dead may never die?
How can something that is dead not die? It is dead. It has died. It is done and deceased.
It's gone. It's fucking gone.
It's kaput.
Like my respect for Theon. It's fucking gone.
God, he had the letter.
We'll go. Fucking little shit. But we're going to get to all of that, everybody. We are back. Joe and I are here to recap Game of Thrones Season 2, Episode 3. We're not alone. We have the motherfucking chat. All of our good friends, LaDonna Louise, Sam, KLC, Tim, a bunch of friends are in the chat getting ready to talk about this episode with us. And if this is your first time checking us out, welcome to the family. Welcome. Come on in. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones for the next hour or so. It's going to be a lot of fun. And please check it out. If you have any questions or requests or anything like that, you can always email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. If you ever want to call in the show live or leave a voice message for later, you can always call it 781-990-8509. Follow me on Twitter at igotissuesman and check out issuesprogram.com for all of our shit. And if you like what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button if you want. But okay, Joe, here we are back at fucking Game of Thrones. What did you think of this episode as a whole?
I definitely dug it. There's some good moments. There's some really good moments in this episode. I like it when Theon tries to stand up for himself and to his father and to Arya, or whatever her name is.
Asha.
And,
or Yara, whatever you want to call her.
Asha. And there's some good moments with Arya and our man from the Yoren,
it was really great. It was fun for me to see the Yoren stuff because of the whole books on tape stuff. That's one of the things that I've listened to more recently than I've watched. So it was good to see all of that again. A lot of little stuff I forget about the Arya-Yoren relationship, at least on the show, that the impetus for her list of people comes from him and in the end of this episode where he's telling her the story about the guy and singing his name every night like a prayer. You see
there it is.
Yeah, you see the inspiration in her mind pop up there, and it's really cool. And as Tim points out in the chat, we have the Cersei crazy fucking train going on here tonight as well. We have, I love when she just pushes down Tyrion. And this is, again, we're going to say this is going to be, we're going to be on repeat cycle from now on, pretty much to the end of the series, to say this was another great Tyrion episode. What a fucking Tyrion episode.
I mean, pretty much every episode has been even in the future, spoiler, they're all great Tyrion episodes.
That's what I'm saying. They're all fucking great Tyrion episodes. And this was one of my favorite, and I really love the whole interaction between him and the other people at King's Landing. I love how each one of them have a specific reaction to what he does and how they all take it. Varys being impressed by it and using it to suck some dwarf toads.
I really like the first switch there when when that part happens. I like the first switch of character there.
And we really get to know a little bit more about Tyrion and about how he's going to play this game. I forgot how much I love this season and love watching Tyrion gain power for the first time and really flexing himself through it. And then what we see happen with Grand Maester Pycelle is, pardon the term, is fucking delicious. And just a great episode from beginning to end. And also we are introduced to Brienne in this episode, which we'll get to. And welcome to everybody in the chat. I also see Vaughn in there, at a fan. Great to have all of you guys joining us today to talk about this Game of Thrones episode, Season 2. As in real life, we're finally at a point where they announced when Season 6 is going to come. So we're in the home stretch now to watch it. And a couple.
What's the start date for Season 6?
I believe it is April 26th. Someone in the chat can quickly correct me if I am incorrect about that. I do want to say something that we speculated before, but before we get too far into this episode, about Fear the Walking Dead. Yes, Fear the Walking Dead, yes, in fact, is starting a few weeks before Game of Thrones and will be going up against Game of Thrones. So that show wants to die.
They want to die.
It wants to be put out of its misery. It's going to happen. I'm sorry to even mention that on a Game of Thrones cast.
They're basically saying, we know our show isn't that good, but there's a lot of people who don't have HBO. We'll pick up those people.
And it is thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sam and LaDonna Louise. It is the 24th, not the 26th.
And is that going to be enough people to keep the show alive? Probably not.
And I mean,
I'm competing with all the people who don't like these two genres anyway. So they're going to be picking up a very short percentage, I would imagine. Especially this season of Game of Thrones that's coming out is going to be really exciting because it's a full season of unknown material to book readers and show watchers alike.
It's going to be really awesome. I just feel like I just wanted to touch on season 6 a little bit in this and that whole silliness that's going to go on. And one other thing, first time in the chat, welcome Noreen Hicks. Welcome. So great to have you. We're really pumped to have you. And this is the first time in the chat. And a couple other things I want to say before we get started. And it's about the crossover audience and all of that. It's going to be fun to watch Fear the Walking Dead fail in the hype in anything. It's going to lose all new news. Once Game of Thrones hits the scene, it's anything else that's in entertainment.
I said I wasn't going to watch it, right? I said I'm done with it. I'm not watching Walking Dead Fear, but ultimately, yeah, I was going to watch it because it's a Walking Dead universe thing, and I just kind of have to. And for as much bitching and complaining as I've done, there's a lot worse TV out there than that.
Right. But now you're not. It's done.
But now it'll be relegated to on demand. And I have a large on demand file, so I won't be watching it live. We have a Sunday night that's already and that's enough of crap about that. But I will say the same thing that Critch said in the chat. I'm desperate for a trailer of Game of Thrones now. And something I do want to point out that LaDonna pointed out in the chat, we also have to mention that to rest in peace to David Bowie, one of my favorite musicians. And it was a really horrible news to wake up and hear today. But out of any way someone can go out, it's great that he went out dropping an album, knowing he was good, knowing he was gonna die, shot a video, was able to fuck that fucking thing that took him. But for whatever it's worth, it was really awesome that he was able to go out in the way he wanted to go out through through delivering one last big artistic explosion in his new song and the new video and everything. It's almost freaking haunting to watch and to think about what happened. So I don't want to dwell too much on that other than to say rest in peace, David Bowie. You are definitely one of my favorite musicians of all time, and he will be missed. He's still great in concert up until a couple of years ago. Just a really amazing musician. Yeah.
So to transition from real life horrors, let's go to Game of Thrones horrors to Craster's Keep and the biggest horror show of all, Craster. Oh my gosh, Griffey 420, welcome! Holy shit, welcome everybody.
See, and at this moment right here, I do not understand the Bears' reaction.
That was a big point in my notes here.
He was where he's not supposed to be. What? Out in the woods, not at your house? Go fuck yourself. That's exactly where he's supposed to be. Oh, you give shelter to my Rangers every now and then? Go fuck yourself. You're dead. We're going to make this a Ranger post. Now go fuck yourself even more. How about that? How about that, right? Let's leave 30, 40 men here at all times. Let's make it another Ranger post beyond the wall.
But Joe, what Critch says is true. Craster's a godly man.
Godly man, yeah. He's making sacrifices to the gods beyond the. Fuck him. Fuck that bullshit. I don't understand why the Bear doesn't fucking completely just murder this dude.
That was a big question I had after with this section for you, Joe. Was do you think that the Bear that Mormont is kissing Craster's ass too much? Was my question for you.
Absolutely. There's no reason for it whatsoever. I thought he should have died last episode before this. Never mind. Now I definitely think he should have fucking killed Craster right then and there.
Okay, Joe. We have the chat coming at you here. A couple questions. LaDonna says, "Yeah, Joe, but the Night's Watch knows that this is a safe place." And Griffey said, "And screw work." Oh, welcome, Griffey. Vaughn says, "Then who's gonna hold off the White Walkers?" It's a concession that the Night's Watch gives. Mormont explains that to John. So do you think
he's not holding off the White Walkers? He's feeding the White Walkers an army.
So you think he's basically taking the weapons and then selling them to the enemy ultimately? He's taking this, he's playing both sides of the coin.
It's not just whatever weapons or materials that they give him. It's the boys that he's sacrificing to the others, to the whites.
To the whites.
That it makes no sense. He's feeding them what they need, and he's placating the night. He's saying, "Hey, Night's Watch, you need me. You absolutely need me. We don't need you. It's a safe place. Sure, let's make it a safe place. Let's put 30, 40 men there." You know that the king beyond the wall, Mance Rayder, has no love for Craster. He's not there. Craster didn't join up with Mance Rayder's ranks. He said, "Go fuck yourself, Mance. There's no love lost." Mance Rayder's not going to be like, "Oh, you killed Craster."
Yeah, but John knows the real enemy in this situation. Ultimately,
everybody knows the real enemy, and Craster's been giving them baby boys that they obviously need for some reason. So it makes no sense not to kill him. He's not making sacrifices. You don't know what the fuck he's doing. And turn you around like you're a little bitch. He's throwing your men around, Rangers of the fucking Night's Watch and stewards and shit. And like, really? Are you kidding me? No, that shouldn't fly.
To jump back in the chat, LaDonna says, "But it keeps Craster's area safe." Joe kind of hit on that. White Walkerception, says Adafan. KLC, yes, this is the first Margaery episode, I believe. I think it is. Yeah. Griffey says, "Yeah, and I wonder if there's anyone else that offers children for protection. Craster can't be the only one." That was another point of notes that I wanted to get into here. That do you think, and I think it's obvious, and it goes, I want to say Mormont, I don't have the exact dialogue written in front of me, but I want to say Mormont says people like Craster help us out, meaning that there are other people like Craster, other people that do this. He isn't the only person out there offering children to the White Walkers.
It just means, I think he means more just like, sometimes bad people help out the Night's Watch. Sometimes you have to make
both is true, Joe. I agree with you there.
Like an end.
I do think there's other people out there doing it though. I don't think Craster's the only one. He can't be. He's the only one we know of, and that's just one of the examples of we're meeting him through the eyes of our characters. We're meeting someone we see doing this ultimately, or on the show.
He's also the only one that specifically talks about what he's doing and that we see what he's doing. That's a vague reference that we need people like him. It could mean a lot of different things. And it's a pretty extreme thing that he's doing, having sex with all his fucking daughters, keeping them.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're having sex with daughters. Let me wait 1 second. I'm not saying there's a lot of people out there
to the others.
that are giving their boys to the others. I'm not saying everyone's out there raising a family of bastard.
Boys are coveted in most society,
but a lot of the people that live up in the north beyond the wall pray to those gods, and they believe that the White Walker god, the Great Other, or whatever it is they're very sympathetic, so they're very easily. I know it's never been spelled out exactly, but it's hard for me to imagine that Craster's the only one giving boys to the White Walker.
I'm not going to say there definitely isn't anyone else that has given their male children, or that the Walkers haven't just taken children from other people and gone away, or slaughtered everybody, or whatever the case is. But I do not understand or see the point from this point on to keeping him alive. That's all I'm saying. I don't really have anything else to say aside from Jon Snow should have fucking killed him himself.
You think Jon Snow should have taken the sword? Don't drop your sword. I won't drop your sword. I'll drop my sword right. Oh, you mean Craster? He should have killed Craster.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Mormont. They should.
God no, you don't kill him. Yeah,
Mormont would have swatted him like a fly if Jon Snow tried it.
Craster, like at least he just let Craster drag him through the fucking keep by his fucking ear, like bad boy. Bad boy Jon Snow. What are you doing, man?
Oh, great discussion happening in the chat right now too. Oh my goodness, about our boy Theon. And Critch says male clans that involve mating with daughters always kill, sacrifice, and banish sons. So chances are there may be others. Is maybe he has Ed or he's shooting blanks. Oh my gosh, maybe he broke his vows and fucked up some shit. Good discussion going on in the chat right now. Speaking of people that might shoot blanks, we meet Samwell. Now we see an interesting situation after the whole Mormont and Jon thing. We see Sam for about 10 seconds, and then we go back. Is this where we go back to Sam, or is it later? I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through my notes because we kind of just talked about the Craster and Jon discussion. The only other thing to really bring up about that is Mormont really tries to sell Jon on. Men like Craster help us all out. They helped your uncle out, even though he's missing right now, but they helped him out. They helped all these people out. We need him. And Mormont also knows about the kids and knows about the sacrificing. Jon kind of puts that to him. He's giving away the sons, and Mormont's like, yep, I know. Shit happens. So
and that's really fucked up to me. I don't understand that. Now at this point, you don't need him at all. Period.
I know.
Maybe it was a safe zone from wildlings as well before, but you know that's over. They've all gone north with Mance, and then they're all coming south to you.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Joe? For whatever it's worth, when I first watched this, I'm kind of on your side with this. But I think part of it is, in this episode, we're all over the place with spoilers for future events. It's over with. Season 6 is announced. We can't do it anymore. We need to talk about perspective a little bit. So we have all of the future of knowing what happens with these motherfuckers even after the fact. So looking back, you even more are focused on the fact that I'm all about being on Jon Snow's side in this discussion right here. I'm like, dude, this guy is evil. He's servicing the enemy. Let's kill him and stop this now.
Right.
But I hear what you're saying. But in the moment when I first watched it, I don't think I was as intense about that. I guess that's all I'm saying. That having gone through all of Game of Thrones to this point now, being in a post season 5, episode 8 world, it's hard to go back from that mindset now, having seen that.
Right.
But okay, so our next scene is Samwell. Let's jump in the chat quickly. What part are you guys up to in the episode of Sam? People in the chat.
Right at the second scene.
She's not listening. She has us in class. She's watching us while she's in a class. but not listening. We're right at the part where Sam ties up the horse.
What are you, a South African?
A mime?
Sign languageist?
Sign languageist, yes. The president has this to say. No
sign language.
The Night's Watch long ago displaced honor with tradition of honor. It's the tradition that they look the other way at Craster and not ask what happens to the boys. Very interesting. And let's go on. I'm very curious about Benjen as well, chat. Samwell prepares the horses. He sneaks up to Gilly, who already knows they're leaving. She thinks he shouldn't be talking to her, which is obviously true. Now, Craster didn't lock up all the women folk. He kind of lets them just interact with the Night's Watch for whatever it's worth. And Sam and Gilly kind of set up their romantic situation. The only thing I want to really say about this scene, because there's so much more Sam and Gilly we're going to have to talk about later, is I can so relate to Sam in this moment. I think all of us, or a lot of guys or girls, can relate that when you're young and it's like your first relationship, and I know this is whatever, might end up being his last too, who knows, first, last, he's going to give away something that's like a special keepsake to himself, like the special family, like the only thing I have to remember my mother by, I'm going to give to you, Gilly, because, and I hardly know you and nothing really about you, but here, take this, please. And it shows how earnest Sam is and how he's really going with his heart. But I love how Gilly kind of is just basically, no, I don't want to take that. Keep that shit.
He's not having it. No, she takes it. She only tries once. She's not like shoving it back into him. She's like, no, okay, I'll take it. What a sweet boy. And he dodes off. He like skips off.
He does. He walks in. Oh my gosh! Oh, that didn't work. Wrong track. I am so craven.
You actually sounded a little bit like him.
Almost for half a second. It was more the effect than me. Oh golly. Sammy's just and as Sam said about Sam in the chat, Sam is so adorable. He's the kind of person you just want to grab and pinch his cheeks. And I
remember when you hated him, Phil.
I'm a victim of the future. Liking future Sam, it makes me more appreciate past Sam.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense at all? Or
it's awesome because like I really liked Sam right from the beginning.
You were all about Sam.
Right. And his story to me only got better. But for you were like, I don't like Sam. Fuck him. He's a fucking craven little bastard. And now you're like, oh, he's fucking cute. I like him. He's funny. It's
because of stuff that happened in future seasons with his man love for Jon Snow made me really get aboard him. I still don't love Sam and Gilly shit. I roll my eyes at that. I like it a lot more, and I don't want to be one of these people, but I like it a lot more in the books. I just don't. I don't love.
Doesn't come off well.
But maybe it might. Sorry, my power switch went off. I got the blinking light of death. Maybe I'm gonna like it more in the upcoming season. It's because it seems to be more. We'll get a little bit more of that adventure.
Yep.
Anyways, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. I like it better. I don't know, something about it in the show. I feel like we have precious time on the show that we've now slated that most likely this whole tale is going to be done in 8 seasons, and we've already had a fast forward and kind of quickly go through shit. We have so little time in each episode. There's certain episodes where stuff's been focusing on Sam and Gilly, and I'm like, okay, guys, clock, we're running out of time. Tick, tick, tick. Can we get to the next scene, please? Too much. Don't linger. And I guess that's my one minor issue with it for if any purposes. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump. Oh, welcome, Jose. So Sam wants to give her something romantic. Gilly tells her he shouldn't give it away. I'm not giving it away. I'm giving it to you. Keep it safe for me till I come back. And then as Joe said, he goes, and runs off. Skips off. So then we cut over to some of those scenes that I missed in season 5 because it's just great to see anything Hodor and Bran, and especially seeing Winterfell. I love this section of this episode, and we go to Winterfell. Hodor is sent up to Bran's room for his lessons. We see a point of view shot going through the castle. At first, it does seem like it could be Hodor that we're seeing.
It starts before. It starts outside, and it's a camera angle low to the ground, and it's coming straight at Hodor, who smiles and says to the camera, Hodor.
It's so cute.
Very happy to see whoever that is. And then you hear the command for Hodor to go up and get Bran. It's time for his lessons. And the camera and Hodor both follow up to the room.
Then we see something we don't often see on Game of Thrones anymore, a direwolf.
It's interesting to say that we see the direwolf. We see the camera run all the way up onto the bed and into Bran's sleeping face. And when Bran opens his eyes, he's then looking at the direwolf. And Hodor, who we saw with the direwolf on their way up, is standing in the room. Hodor.
As to say what LaDonna says in the chat, Hodor is just a toddler. That's why he hung out with the nanny and the children. That's my theory. A giant, I'm going to say cuddly, wonderful, good-hearted toddler.
He's not as mature as his age should be. And there's obviously something developmentally limited about him.
But so warm and has such a great heart and cares so much about Bran. And I'm sure we see him the most with Bran, but I'm sure he has a emotional connection to all the Stark children.
Yep.
But Bran's probably been the one that's been nicest to him.
Right. And that when Bran opens his eyes and we see that direwolf up on him, I think that's a really good shot.
Hodor. I had a fan. Hodor. Jenny, welcome from England. She's hanging out near the wall. Holy shit. Welcome, Griffey420. How can he understand what they want him to do if he's a baby? A very good point. Okay, Hodor has...
He's got intelligence about him. He's developmentally limited.
Right.
Great way to
it's probably the giant's blood in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So Bran wakes up, and this kicks into a really awesome scene that is something I've always loved. This scene between Maester Luwin and Bran. Bran's insisting his experience with the wolves while he's dreaming. He talks about how it feels. He also says that old Nan told him some stories of this sort of thing happening. And I love how Luwin's one of those guys, unlike some of the maesters that we meet and a lot of the other people that we meet, has his doubts about magic still existing in the world. But he does never for a moment makes Bran feel like he's an idiot for thinking these things and having these kinds of dreams. He communicates with him. Again, part of why you have to think a lot of the Stark children really grew up to be, good people when it comes down to it. Luwin is another awesome influence to have there as just a person. He was they got a good draw with maesters with him.
They did. And even if he denies the existence of magic and dragons and other things now, he does not deny that they existed at one point. And he doesn't say in this scene, when he says, dragons are gone from the world, he doesn't say that the children are gone from the world, the children of the forest. He says they're forgotten.
Yeah, they're forgotten.
He doesn't say that they don't exist. He says that they're forgotten. And they're obviously not forgotten if Bran's talking about them and the people of the North continue to talk about them, and he's not saying that they are gone.
And he also sounds sad about that, too. When he's talking about that, he's like, yes, they don't exist anymore. They're gone. Dragons are dead. There's almost a sense of, because when he explains in this scene that he's one of the maesters, one of I forget how many he says, that god, he's
in that chain link.
Yeah, that has one of these chain links. And so he must have been as a youth, and we learn more about this in the book, but he really cared about magic, and he had a place in his heart to learn about that and discover that in the world. And that was a big passion of him as a young man. So you can see that in him, and it's excellent performance by the actor, and one of those underrated actors on the show and characters on the show, the way he delivers the Maester Luwin performance.
He's a mild, he's just a straight man. It's a good guy that does good things and helps the kids and pays the ultimate price. So
right. Exactly, for a good reason too. He really fights the good fight not to spoil too much, but exactly, he really fights the good fight and cares about in his Stark in his heart through and through to the last drop.
Yep. And so he does a good job, and he's very competent at that as an actor. And he does great, but there's not a whole lot of drama surrounding him, and it's basically like watching somebody raise or teach a child, which is what he's doing at this point. And with all the other stuff in the series that takes place with the powerhouse of Tyrion, Cersei, with the performances delivered by some of the Viserys and Peter,
and Tywin, and the list goes on. Someone like the Maester Luwin performance can get overlooked, but he's so perfect in that role. Exactly. And he really is, in my mind, when I was imagining something very close to what we got on screen. I just think it was a great from paper to visual depiction of the character. Really awesome job. So Luwin would have freaked me out if he had met Lee. Great. How weird would it have been to live in a castle with wolves running around? Lola, welcome, Lola. That would be really crazy. You got to think that. I was actually going to ask Joe that question because I know he's grown up in houses living with animals. I think anyone who's lived with cats has woken up. Most people have woken up in the middle of the night and you wake up and your cat is sitting on your chest, staring at you, just looking at you with these.
Every morning at 10 a.m. she climbs up on.
It's scary.
In my face.
It can be scary, and I've woken up when I've fallen asleep with my dog Lotus before, and Lotus will be literally 2 centimeters from my face, and it is fucking scary. So I can just imagine having these big, huge direwolves running around, and they just go anywhere they want. They're generally well behaved with everyone, except
that was very little. We had 2 Dobermans and a Rottweiler in the house.
And imagine, and I guess the most difficult one, the hardest one probably to live with, is Shaggy Dog from, again, stuff we don't hear so much about on the show. But Shaggy Dog needs to be sent elsewhere, isn't allowed to wander around the castle eventually because it has a bad attitude. And
well, somebody should help that. Who's Rickon again? Somebody should be helping him raise the pup.
Wait.
No.
Wait, are we talking about it? Wait, Joe, who are you talking about again?
Who's Rickon?
Just Rickon.
Somebody should have been helping him raise the pup. Instead, Stark's like, "You'll all raise your own pups," and he's like 5, and he's like, "All right, Shaggy Dog, eat them all," because he's 5. They're like, "No, Shaggy Dog can't play in the house."
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Shaggy Dog can't. Okay, Shaggy Dog can't play in the house. Oh my goodness. Okay, so to get through this scene, basically, Luwin. It's a really fun scene between Luwin and Bran, and they have great interaction. And it's maybe magic was once a mighty force in the world, but not anymore. The dragons are gone, the giants are dead, and the children of the forest forgotten. He basically wants that to be true, but he doesn't believe it, which I do hope he gets a raven somewhere that dragons have been born.
He does not want to believe it for sure.
He doesn't. So then we go to, here we go, a big circle. Ladies and gentlemen, in this corner we have Loras, Tyrion, and in this corner we have Marla, Hooch. Sorry. No, and in this corner we have our introduction to Brienne of Tarth.
Beautiful Brienne of Tarth.
That's what I want to point out. I don't want to keep doing this, but just one quick one before we go too far. Brienne is not. I think Gwendolyn Christie is a very beautiful woman. Brienne of Tarth is not supposed to be that
as good looking as she is.
That's all I want to say.
So I want to point this out too.
Okay, go for it. Go.
And neither is Tyrion. Also, Tyrion's supposed to be a lot more ugly than.
Excellent point, Joe. Excellent.
Playing him, but I gotta say too, I'm a little put off by Brienne's body mechanics, I should say, in that she is as good a warrior as she is. Just judging by the way she walks in that armor. Oh my God. It looks like she's about to fall over with every step she takes, the duck walk she's got going on.
Yep. So quick, it's, trust me, people that have seen Star Wars will know what I mean. She's good at walking in odd armor because that's all she does.
Oh God. Why was she?
No spoilers, Joe. Don't do it. Don't do it here.
That movie, man. That's all I want to know.
Not here. Anyways, so the big circle of people watching two people in armor kick each other's ass. It's a really fun fight to watch between the two of them, and I love this. Is also our introduction, I believe, to Margaery, and Margaery just starts shouting, "Go for Highgarden!" And it's an interesting setup of watching the two of them kick each other's ass as Catelyn Stark shows up, and we see Renly Baratheon up there, and he's accompanied with Margaery. She's cheering on for Highgarden. One of the people in armor falls back and quickly yields. Excuse me. And we see that it's Loras, and the winner goes yield, and is asked to take off the helmet. And it's made to see that it's a reveal, but we know from Renly's reaction immediately and from future events that Renly knows who Brienne is, that they're very familiar with each other. And Renly, "Oh, you're everything your father said and more." And he asks her if she could have anything she wants, what would it be? And she says that she wants a place on his Kingsguard of one of his sevens to protect his life and all this, yada, yada. And everyone gets a Hufflepuff, Hufflepuff. But Renly says, "Fuck yeah." And from that point on in the episode, she suddenly immediately becomes his bodyguard, becomes his Catelyn Stark. "Listen, motherfucker, you kneel before Zod here. You sit down." Like yells at Catelyn, like, "You need to kneel before your king."
Kneel before Zod.
Oh my gosh, let's.
Yeah, no, Renly's very diplomatic here. Renly's known Catelyn a long time. Their husband and brother were best friends, and Catelyn knows a lot about Renly. She's very adamant as well that, my son is the king in the north, not just Lord Stark. And, there's a little back and forth, but Renly doesn't join in that. Renly kind of dismisses it and doesn't address either the king in the north or, he says, she doesn't need to kneel. And of course she shouldn't have to kneel in front of him at all. She's a lady. She's known him since childhood. What kind of king does he really want to be? Is going to make ladies whose husbands, his brother's best friend, practically his fucking uncle, was beheaded by this bastard on the throne who he's trying to, oust. So like, no, you don't make this lady kneel. She can be forgiven any kind of like calling him Lord Renly. She's been doing it his whole life, None of that is called for. And both Loras and Brienne are so far out of fucking line for even opening their mouths at all. That is not the place of a king's guard at all.
Loras is all fucking salty because he got beat by.
Even more of a reason for him to keep his fucking mouth shut.
He's being a whiny bitch in that moment because he's like, I got beat by Brienne, and then fucking Renly picked her to be fucking because she kicked my ass and she can beat me. So he wants the best possible person to fucking protect him. He's just in a whiny bitch mode, and I think Margaery knows enough to pay Catelyn the respect that she deserves, and Catelyn kind of notes that. She goes,
but she says what she says, and there's a little bar back and forth there too, but it's small, and Margaery actually gets a kick out of the way.
Yeah, she's
what she sees out of Catelyn. She's like, "Oh, this woman is amazing."
Yeah, she looks up to Catelyn. She does, and I think Renly does as well, in the sense that it's anything connected to the Starks makes him feel like my brother Robert loved the Starks, so I love the Starks too. He kind of has a little bit of that
connection. They killed both his brother and betrayed him with all those children between the two, brother and sister, and also killed her husband. So there's absolutely a connection there that Renly wants to exploit, that even Robb is trying to exploit, and it's not just a connection. It's that, they are extended family of each other. So.
Absolutely. And I think that's why everyone gets all mumble, grumble, Hufflepuff when ultimately Renly just says, fuck this, and gets down and goes and walks off with Catelyn to talk to her alone. He's like, yeah, fuck all this crap right now. I'm going to go off and have my moment. And you see everyone get a little hot and bothered by it all. So moving on, Catelyn's introduced. We go on. So I'm scrolling through the notes to catch up. Catelyn calls Robb my lord instead of your grace, or he calls her my lord Grace, but kind of already talked about that where Bran calls him out. So Renly and Catelyn stroll through the very big camp as we see lots and lots of people. We see Renly out there kissing babies and helping old men, giving them canes,
being very kingly.
Going out there showing himself. He's really acting the part. And I love one line that I didn't mention at the time.
Well, that's his strength too. That's exactly what Loras told him his strength is. That's what he's playing to. And it shows right from
He's a people person. He's truly a people person.
Right, by making Brienne a Kingsguard, by basically ignoring those two loudmouths and treating Catelyn with ultimate respect, by what he's doing when he's walking with Catelyn. Like, he's a man of the people. He's doing exactly what Loras told him to do. He's very smart in that respect.
Absolutely. So, sorry, guys. I'm just jumping in the chat for a second. Chat's having an awesome discussion going on right now in the chat. I love you guys. You guys are fucking awesome in the chat. Holy shit. Okay, so he really cares about Catelyn's opinion of him. And I love how Catelyn kind of points out in the last scene that my son's in a war, you're playing war. It was a really great scene. We talk about shit talkers and people that
everybody up right then and there, and Renly knew that's why Renly gets up off the throne, because if this goes on any longer, it's not going to end well for anybody. Something will end up said. Renly gets up and guides Catelyn away from the people that are opening their mouths that shouldn't be. It's a big choice Renly has to make, because at this point he either has to tell the people in his councils and Kingsguard to shut the fuck up, they're overstepping their bounds, and also remaining like very peaceful, very calm, very cool, and thought collected, and that's what he does, and he guides Catelyn away from it and stays above that kind of fray. I think it's very smart. It was very political. I think he did a very
Renly's doing a good job. So after he uses his podiatry license to help some guy with his foot problems, Catelyn says she pities him for having all of this huge army of 100,000 people because they're the Knights of the Summer and winter is coming. And she's just totally adopted the Stark. It's Ned, and everything that's happened to Ned and everything that she's gone through in the last while has really, she knows this, and she's the living embodiment of winter's coming. It's great to see her truly embrace her Starkness, so to speak.
Yeah.
So then Renly says, Renly ends up kind of taking almost being offended. That's the first time that Renly seems offended by anything she says. And he kind of just gets, okay. Lady Stark is tired, Brienne. Take her to her tent. She's fucking tired. Get her the fuck away from me right now. I need to go. I need some alone time with Loras. Brienne, you go with her. I'm going to go and pray. Again,
not taking the bait and not jumping into that staying above it and just avoiding it. It's very well played again by him, because he knows ultimately too, by keeping them at war in the north, it really strengthens his army's play in the south. So this ally cannot stop. There's plenty of time later to work out, who's king where, who owes fealty to what, and all that shit. Like this isn't the time for that, Time for the barbs back and forth. It's time to get above that, get beyond that, and get this war won.
Houster in the chat made a good point or an interesting question. Should Renly have sided with Stannis the whole time and just supported Stannis and been Stannis's people person, while he was his hand, so to speak, and kind of?
It wouldn't have been his hand. No way.
You don't think Stannis would have made him his hand?
Zero respect for Renly whatsoever. Renly is out of the picture. Renly is relegated to some small castle lordship somewhere. He's not even on the small council.
You don't even think he's on the. You don't even think Stannis puts him on the small council.
He's banished from court. Like I don't even want you in the city. You doing your bohemian ways. Like, no, you're done. But absolutely, I believe Renly should have thrown his support behind Stannis and should have not listened to that snake-tongued Loras in bed, all that pillow talk and ego boasting. He should have stood up for his family and for the succession rights there of his brother and brought those armies together.
Yeah, he should have gone with, I think at the point that Ned came to him and was like, no, we need to go team Stannis here, get on board Renly. He should have gone with Ned to Stannis, and then the three of them kind of group up a little bit.
Because you can't yell and scream, no, they're not the rightful heirs, they're bastard children of these two, so I'm king now, if you're not the rightful heir either.
Mm-hmm.
Your claim is superiorly diminished and weakened, and a lot of people aren't going to respond to it. The whole north isn't going to respond to that. They would have sooner backed Stannis than Renly as well. So, and that's one of the reasons why, shit happens in the future.
Or if you're Renly and you don't let your greed get taken away and you side with Ned Stark in that moment and to go on Stannis's side to be like, we need to ride to Stannis right now. You and me, get the fuck out of here, go to Stannis, then group together and come the fuck back. Then you have Ned there, or so all the North comes with you anyway. And then you have all the North and all of the storm, and then you're fucking destroying King's Landing and taking everybody out, and game over, pal. Game over.
Correct. That was the ultimate flaw, was Renly not doing what was the right thing then, and he should be doing now. With those two armies together and not split or disjointed. Or three armies, for that matter, if you include the North, Stannis, Renly.
Yeah, fucking okay. So
that crushes everything.
So at the end of this scene, we get basically Brienne saying she's no lady. But I think the real awesome part of this scene when we see Catelyn and Brienne walking next to each other, seeing how much bigger Gwendolyn Christie is than Michelle Farley, just seeing how tall. It's almost like the Bruce Lee Kareem Abdul-Jabbar moment for a second. Just seeing the two of them walk next to each other. It's really kind of funny, just visual.
I love the footprint on his chest in that movie. It's like his whole torso.
Yeah, it's great. It's fucking great. So many awesome folks and so many first-time names I'm seeing jumping in the chat. Really great for all of you guys to be able to join us. Really great to have the motherfucking chat going crazy. If you're listening to this audio podcast later or you're watching this video later, please subscribe and know when we go live so you can jump in and at least once in a while join in on the live chat. It's really awesome, and it's the best part of the channel, getting to discuss everything about Game of Thrones or whatever show that we're discussing or bullshit that me or Joe are talking about. So speaking of bullshit, should we get to Pike? Let's get to Pike, the home of the Greyjoys. We see Theon wandering around a room looking at a really awesome looking Kraken fireplace. Yara walks in and we finally get the fallout because of Yara faking and allowing Theon to feel him up and all of that. So he calls her a lying bitch for not saying she was his sister before, and he rubbing his hands all over her. She says it's his fault for not recognizing her. He says, you looked like a little fat boy the last time I saw you. And she says, well, that's what you looked like too, but I recognized you. Well, whatever. She wanted to know what kind of person he was before meeting him, and she said she did. So I still think it's a fucked up thing that she did. And kind of weird that she wanted, how she was going to learn this was by having her brother feel her up. But okay, whatever you Greyjoys are into. Who am I to
get all buttered up, hot and bothered by the refrigerator?
Who am I to question, Joe? So here we go. Balon Greyjoy enters in and he gives a speech. The wolf pup has gone south with the entirety of the Northern Army at his back, while he's tangling with the lion in the Westerlands. The North is ripe for my taking. The Ironborn will reap and pillage again as if it was the old days along the northern coast. We spread dominion across the Greenland, securing the neck and everything above. Every stronghold will fall to us one by one. Winterfell might resist for a year, but who gives a shit?
This whole scene shows how much of a freaking idiot Balon Greyjoy is.
I was going to add, that was my big question for you here, for Joe, big question mark. What do you think of Balon's plan?
He's a complete idiot. Theon absolutely right in this situation. And so Balon took the Iron Islands from his father. They weren't just, given to him. And even if they had a king's moot and he was able to win them from whoever to have the Iron Islands, he had a rebellion. He lost his fucking rebellion, and he's been living under as a lord since, with his son that he gave away. Everything that Theon says is absolutely fucking true, and he can't bear that whatsoever. So he storms out of the room like a little fucking child. He's an absolute idiot. If he should absolutely be listening to Theon right now, it's the best play. And by fighting with Robb against the current king, you are absolutely fighting for your own kingdom, because you're the Iron Islands. You're actually not. You're kind of just as much south as you are north. You're right about at the neck. And he makes absolutely no sense. He's salty and he's fucking.
But they don't sow, Joe. They don't sow. They don't just want shit given to them. You want our father to bow down? I don't agree with that. I'm on your side.
Given to them. What's being given to them? They're going off and they're fighting. They're fighting the evil tyrants that are on the Iron Throne. And when they beat them,
why does Balon hate
victory?
My question is, why does Balon blame the Stark? Isn't everybody that kicked their ass? It wasn't just the Starks. It was
the Baratheons, and technically
the Lannisters too. Weren't the Lannisters kicking their ass? Wasn't it everyone fighting together?
It was actually Ned who raised his son and kept him safe, instead of letting Baratheon say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have him give him to the Lannisters to raise, give him to you know, we're going to take him to King's Landing and have him raised there in the dungeons instead. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
okay, and a couple of people asked Timo if Theon had some.
How about your rebellion? We're going to take your head, Balin. You're now dead. Fuck you. Kill you. And kill your son so he doesn't come back for revenge. And your daughter so she doesn't come back for revenge. And your brothers. We're going to wipe the Balon name off the face of Westeros. How about that? That's what they could have done.
As Lola says perfectly, Balon Greyjoy has forever and will ever be a stunted fool. Yeah, so much salt, says Ada. LaDonna says everyone was fighting the Greyjoys. Sam says I blame Theon for all the problems that happened in the north. Critch says Joe is right. Strategically and politically, basically that Balon's plan was stupid. You got to think that Balon.
He's going to make an enemy out of the entire north. He's going to be able to control that. He's going to be able to control and keep rule in the north.
My question for you, Joe, quickly, and you continue on this, Red, is did Robb fuck up sending Theon? If he had sent anybody else that could actually threaten Balon and make him feel the way Robert Baratheon made him feel, would that have changed what Balon was going to do? Was the fact that he sent Theon, and Theon's like a little, Theon's a douchebag.
That was the worst thing he could have done. Robb should have recognized immediately that he hasn't had a relationship with his father at all. I'm sure absolutely Robb knows exactly how many times they've written back and forth, visited each other, which is probably amounts to the great sum of 0. Like, why would you send this kid? He doesn't know who the fuck that guy is. Are you kidding me?
You should have sent someone like, I don't know, just one of your best warriors, someone that can just remind him. Karstark or someone like that to be like, listen, you motherfucker, unless you want us kicking your ass again, you're on our side, motherfucker. And Balon's like, okay. It's just the way Theon goes about it is like adding fuel to the flame of his stupidity. When it really comes down to, I just don't want to take Theon out of the blame pizza right here. He deserves a couple of slices for how he went about explaining it. And
here's the thing. There is something to be said. He is
Great John. Yeah, Great John or somebody too. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a prisoner, and he does have, as much as anybody can have Stockholm Syndrome, who's taken as a child and raised.
It just happened to be his captors were pretty good people.
Correct. And so he wants to be back with his father. He knows he's a Lord's son. He wants to have all that. He wants to have this respect. You can't blame him so much at this point. It's more so what he does on his own in the future that makes it.
Yeah, I know. Good job walking around that. But I agree, which we will get to.
But at this point, I can't really blame him for wanting his father to love him, for wanting to be a Greyjoy.
That's a great point too. When he's like, "You're pissed at me. You're yelling at me for things I didn't do. You were the one that gave me up. You were the one that got your ass kicked. Were you sewing when you bowed down to Robert Baratheon?" And Balon bitch slaps him across the room.
Right, and that's absolutely fucked up because Theon is absolutely right, and Balon doesn't want to hear that he's culpable in any sense and that he lost that war and all of his sons by Theon getting taken, and he knows that, and that's why he also turns around and walks out of the room because he knows he's fucking wrong. It's absolutely ridiculous. Balon Greyjoy is a complete fucking moron, and if there's anything bad in his future, it's absolutely freaking warranted, and it probably should be worse than it was.
So just to kind of yada through some of the stuff in this scene, Yara is going to go to Deep Woodmont with 30 ships and lay siege. The jump off point. The jump off point is Theon gets one ship that's called the Sea Bitch, and he's going to go fight fishermen. And
up and down the coast, you're just gonna raid fishing villages, Theon. Get your legs a little bit. You've never really been on a boat, not since like you're not a captain. You're just kind of gonna be on the boat, I guess. I mean, he's gonna be the captain, but
we kind of talked about everything else.
A lot of work to do.
We kind of talked about everything else in the scene before, but we basically said everything. So the Greyjoys don't sew. So Balon explains to Theon it means that they're not subjects or slaves. They don't plow or mind. They take things. And then, as we mentioned, Balon walks out. Theon yells at him a little bit. And wah, daddy. And I think daddy heard his wah for a second, was like, little son of a bitch is right. Fuck him. I hate him even more. And he walked out because Theon was whang, but he whacked right in that moment. We said it, he was 100% correct in every.
He was right, and he was holding his tongue since he got there about like,
have a good night.
About getting the shit from Balon, and it was finally time for him to stand up and say something, and everything he said was right, and everything he said was correct, and it's actually the smarter, more correct play, and Balon can't take that. It's a blow to his ego that again he's going to be wrong, that again he's going to owe something to these fucking people who squashed his rebellion. Why aren't I allowed to be?
I'm the worst leader of the Iron Islands ever. I'm such a pussy. I'm going to be laughed at when I die and go meet the drowned god. He's going to look at me as a fucking punk. So that he's through all of that shit is what's on his mind. I think really he's getting obsessed. He's getting cuckoo in the canuku.
Instead of working on and visiting his son and working on some sort of relationship with the Starks and as much as possible, he completely abandoned his son to the Starks and never went to see him and never went off the islands and just kind of like shut himself in a room and like stewed over the fact that he lost to Robert and the rest of Westeros.
But I will see you soon, Griffey. Thank you so much for checking out the live show. And so many times I saw you being referred to in the chat as Griff. I was like, what are they talking about in that? Hey, what were they saying about Griff in the chat? And I was like, oh, they're talking to you. But thank you so much for checking us out. We really do appreciate that. Okay, so we go after this. It ends with Yara saying, what do you want our father to bow down to your new family? I don't have a family, but
they're not my family, but they're right.
But they're so fucking right, because we see it later in the episode. He goes after this point. He writes the letter to Robb Stark that he eventually burns. But at that point, this conversation makes him goes, God damn it! Why would these people fucking listen? I care about them. I'm trying to fucking help them. I gotta go warn Robb. Somewhere, but then it changes somewhere in his mind. He has a awakening of some sort, whatever. Fucking crazy. Okay, so and yet, yes. You're on if they actually. I don't want to talk about that. That's season 6 stuff. But I hope they fucking. That's gonna be fun to see what happens there. Okay, so Balon leaves. He listens to Theon, but I don't think he hears him. Okay, so here
that's a great point, Lola. The North is poor. Those fishing villages don't have anything. They're fishing villages. What are you going to take? Their fish, their other boats, their trawlers. Like, okay, like you're not really gaining much out of it by actually going with Robb and participating in that. You're gaining your independence, and then you can go raid and fuck with him afterwards, and have your son back doing it. But instead, you choose this inane fucking path. You're absolutely right.
Oh, speaking of good transitional word, Joe, because speaking of inane, we have why do I have to sit in this room? What, you think I'm stupid?
This stuff annoys me.
What? Oh, I annoy you? What are you saying, Joe? I annoy you? Don't say that to me. Joe, you're turning your head. Why are you turning your head?
You really think this is a prison? You can either stay here and enjoy this nice place and keep your mouth down, or I can go have you work in the kitchens as a dishwashing bitch. You want to clean out fire pits? How about you go be a little slave girl to some little lordly lady who's snooty and will make you empty her chamber pots? Which would you rather, Shae? What do you want here?
That's
just stop your fucking whining.
That's the thing, Joe. Especially in this scene, I didn't remember being this annoyed with her. But again, the future makes me even more annoyed with her. And she's just so whiny to him. I'm not a kitchen wench. Anyone who tastes my cooking thinks I'm a better whore. Oh my God.
He makes her live in a brothel down the street, like down in Flea Bottom.
She's so fucking annoying in this scene. Tyrion's trying so fucking hard right in this moment. Everything he's trying to save her fucking life, and she's screaming, yelling. Your father's gonna hear me 17,000. It's not his father, his sister.
She doesn't get it.
You don't get it. Or does she not get it, or she already? So she knows she's
She comes from a Lannister camp. Like, that's where she's first introduced. And Lannister is a smart man. Lannister knows that men talk, and women can make men talk, especially after sexual activities taking place. It's called pillow talk.
I love how quiet you got. Sexual intercourse.
I said activities.
Okay, I added the intercourse.
So Lannister would be very smart, a very, very, very smart, very cunning lord if he sent prostitutes out to go sleep with the other lords that had joined his campaign to go fight Robb Stark, which is where we pick up Shae.
Very possible
that she does come from a Lannister, is placed by Lannister to gather information from the other lower lords that are even on his side. Of course you have spies on your own people, and who makes the best spies? Sometimes prostitutes do.
Joe, that's not a far thing to stretch, and we're not even trying that hard. I know Sam's in class, so let's just distract her, and she'll be like, "What the hell is going on right now? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Oh yes, and then Shae goes like this to Tyrion's nuts. She's like, "Boom, boom, holy shit!" And that's what this whole
comedy. What's up, Carrot Top?
Sorry, I know that's totally a Carrot Top moment. And then Tyrion goes, "Zee." Quick side story. I got a part-time job, and I was like failing on my interview, and then they were like, "Could you just talk 5 minutes about something that you're passionate about?" I started just talking about Game of Thrones, and I just went to like a rant, like did a 20-minute podcast, and the guy's like, "I love Game of Thrones. This is awesome. You're hired. Come on." But yes. If people want to come to Salem, Massachusetts in the Halloween time next year, I'm going to be a tour guide on a fucking haunted tour. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing next fall for part-time
haunted happenings in Great Salem.
Yes, come on down now. Anyways, so Horseception. Yeah, this is our Horseception scene. So, anyways, Tyrion is he's reading. She keeps shouting. She doesn't want
to go empty Sansa's chamber pot. Leave me the fuck alone. Get out of here. Scene over. Next.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so then we Cersei knows my shut up. Next scene. So we go to Cersei and her we see the non-kids. Joffrey isn't in this episode. We see the two people that aren't even the same people anymore. Who
are those kids?
I don't know. Who are those kids, and where's Marcella and Tom?
Cersei being so mean to those two kids. And that one girl with the red hair there.
Yeah. Ooh, oh golly. Yeah. Okay. So Cersei and the party consists of Cersei and Marcella and Tommen and Sansa. And yep, everyone but Sansa's kind of a Baratheon, but they're just kind of sitting there. Marcella wants to know when Joffrey and Sansa will be married. Sansa's just sitting there eating like, can I have some water? Cersei explains. This is just
she is eating. Did you see any food go in her mouth at all?
No, and I watch her mouth very carefully. There was nothing going in and out of her mouth. So she's just eating or no, faking eating. And I just love this scene. I love how we don't get a lot of her in this episode, but every second, every drop, every moment of Cersei in this episode is so fucking great. Lena Headey just steals scenes as Cersei.
She's at her best real housewife at this.
Oh, she is amazing. Oh, they're gonna get married when Joffrey finally murders and slays.
I mean, come on though. What kind of challenge is she's not even like she's picking on a 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl, for Christ's sake. Like, this isn't a challenge. This could barely be fun for her, this should barely be fun for even the most seasoned bully. But this woman is having a ball, the smirk on her face, torturing poor Sansa, and even trying to get the kids to participate in it, which they're not. They kind of feel bad. They can see what their mom's doing. They feel bad about it.
Yeah, they're not taking any part. No, I don't.
Princess is talking to you, you little fucking bitch. You answer her.
Yes, yes, master. Yeah, it's horrible. And then Tommen's like, I don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to eat Robb Stark's brain for breakfast.
Kill Robb Stark. Yes, and maybe he'll bring his head to his bride Sansa. Well, that would kind of suck, Ma. Wow. Wow, Ma.
And
You're fucked up, Ma. Can you please I don't want it. Can Nan tell me bedtime stories from now on? You're too fucked up. Jesus. No wonder Joffrey turned out the way he did. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And yes, for shame for my mouth comment. Sorry about that. Sorry about good call, Ada. For shame, Phil. For shame.
Like, wow. Talk about Robert Baratheon taking one for the team, having to marry Cersei Lannister.
And you can see that, okay, a lot of people like to say, well, if Robert hadn't married her and married someone else might, he probably, the same shit would have happened. But I'm sure the fact of the type of person she was and how, of course, it didn't help. It didn't help. And it drove him even more into his...
How do you figure the same thing is going to, for whoever says that, how do you figure the same thing is going to happen? We know there was another child before Joffrey. We don't exactly know how that child died. I'm really, really, really willing to say Cersei killed that child if it was.
I know, you're totally about Cersei killing that child.
With all the other children and males that Robert has fathered throughout the kingdom, we've seen all the bastards getting killed. They're coming after Gendry, all this shit. Like, with all that's taken place, yes, things would have been a lot different. He would have had actual children with his actual wife who wasn't fathering children with her actual fucking twin brother. So things would have been a lot fucking different, and the same things would have happened? No, because John Arryn wouldn't have been running around the whole fucking kingdom trying to find the true heirs and registered children of Robert Baratheon to figure out why his little blonde-head children don't look a thing like anything that's been written in the fucking Baratheon line. Things would have been completely fucking different if he had married absolutely anybody else in the kingdom. And the only reason why he married her was to solidify a weak, shaky alliance to a backstabbing fucking lord named Tywin Lannister. Oh my fucking God.
Awesome. But as Tim says, anyone that gets to hang out with Cersei is just plain lucky. How can you not want to hang out with Cersei? Oh my God.
I want to see Cersei Lannister and Carmela Soprano have tea with Tony's mother.
That would be a fun time. That would be awesome.
And Lysa Arryn. That's what I want to see.
You want to watch a tea party with all of them? That'd be crazy.
Oh, should we put Catelyn and Grandma Margaery there?
That would be worse than what Alice wandered into with the Mad Hatter. Want some tea? Want some tea? I'm gonna kill you. I want to meet.
A Sopranos, Game of Thrones tea party.
Oh my goodness, so many awesome people in the chat talking about how someone said that Lila says, as for Marcella and Tommen, well, they seem to have been born sweet. Obviously, Marcella never ends up like Cersei because she was living in Dorne after like 10 years old, so she had enough time away from him. And then Tommen had very little attention from Cersei through his whole entire life.
It all goes to Joffrey. It all goes to Joffrey and to Jaime.
Yeah. LaDonna says Gendry is the true Barn's son, and the hepatitis in Greek mythology, blacksmith throws down by his mother. It would have been very interesting to see an alternate universe where Robert doesn't have to marry Cersei, where he doesn't listen to John Arryn, and he's like, that's a stupid idea. I don't want to do that. No, keep her the fuck away from me.
He kills himself, John Arryn.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Before he dies.
So, oh, whoops. Sorry, fucking around with my my computer's doing something funky there. Okay, so the next question.
Was it doing the chicken?
It was doing the chicken dance. The next question involves whether Joffrey intends on killing Sansa's brother. Maybe he will. So the kids are like, no, I don't want him to kill. Won't you, little you'll even if Joffrey does kill your brother, you'll still do your duty, won't you, little tough? And Sansa's just like,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, I will. Motherfucker. Holy shit. So then we go into Sansa's chambers, and I guess this is one of those moments where every time you want to feel bad for Sansa, and then you realize that she's
just a spoiled little brat. Oh my God, brush my fucking hair? I didn't mean now. I mean empty my chamber pot, but it's empty. Shut the fuck up and clear the table. I don't have time. I'm too busy getting yelled at by the queen to teach you how to do your job. Just brush my fucking hair. Like, what? Wow.
Oh.
And you understand, though, she's under a lot of stress. The poor girl just came from yet another, the 118th straight horrific horror show of a family fucking dinner. Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, I feel bad for her, and it's unfortunate that she's lashing out at anybody. But if anybody deserves to be lashed out at, it's that fucking Shae.
Yeah, that was I was just going to say that, Joe, that the one redeeming point of this whole interaction is the fact that she's basically doing to Shae what Shae was doing to Tyrion. Everything Shae says, she's calling her out on her bullshit. You're not a...
She knows she cannot open her mouth and really talk. She's kind of giving attitude and with the hunched shoulder and the stomping around the room kind of, but still... If she opens her mouth and gets disrespectful, she's going to be fucking whipped and sent right to the fucking dungeon.
You know what's really good for us, Joe? That we have Tom and LaDonna in the chat that were both have some law experience. So if we ever get into trouble, we have good friends, the good friend lawyers for some legal stuff. And I think it actually really helps out on Game of Thrones when we get into some of the stuff on the show. It reads, and the text is so much like a history book, and so much looking into it. It's just so ideal for historians or people that are into the law. I find that a lot of people that are into that kind of stuff are into Game of Thrones. I was talking on New Year's Eve to a lawyer that's like a huge Game of Thrones fan. It was just like crazy. I love it. Dutch law will protect me. Yes, it will, Tom. If I'm traveling. Dude, I don't want to get caned or something. Didn't someone get caned? And
oh no, the Dutch cane?
I don't know. I'm sounding like an idiot now, but whatever. I appreciate it. I'm calling in favors. But I'm a good
for.
Shae is the dumbest character on the history of the show, says Lola. Timo says, I think that Ramsay's scene affected people. Oh, yes, I think it was. We'll talk more about that obviously later in season 6 stuff. But I agree. I think that was a different sort of situation. I think she's been put through a lot of shit at this point, but
yep.
But it doesn't seem to have changed the way she treats people yet. She still treats the people that help her out and her underlings like shit. Like she treated Scepter Mordain like shit. Like she's treating Shae like shit, whether Shae deserves it or not. She doesn't know that. All she knows is that Shae sucks and doesn't know what she's doing, and I'm going to be a bitch to her. Is what I...
Yeah, he has no patience for it. And at this point, it's with understanding, but still not excusable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we get, after all of that mess...
But then Shae shouldn't be anybody's fucking handmaiden either. She's not handmaiden materials. There's nothing about her that says you should be a handmaiden. No, she should be in the kitchens washing dishes. You don't want to wash dishes? You can go live in Flea Bottom in a whorehouse and make a little extra cash on the side when I'm not around. Or you can live like a fucking queen in these chambers. Look, you have 2 rooms, a nice little fucking balcony, your own fucking chamber pot. Really? You want to go out and work?
Timo says, and Sansa has it pretty easy compared to the rest. And Sansa has it pretty easy compared to the rest of her family. Why should we feel bad for her? Fuck Sansa. She's fucking alive. Okay, so...
and eating as many lemon cakes as she possibly can still.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't even have to deal with Joffrey right now, really. So Tyrion visits Grand Maester Pycelle and gets this mysterious little blue stuff to help him shit better because he hasn't taken a good, proper shit in days.
I love that. I love that. It's such a human,
human moment.
The rest of this office will fucking kill you, man.
And dealing with, it's not just that, it's dealing with Shae too.
Yeah. He hasn't had decent shit in days.
Oh my goodness. So you don't know what it's like. Everywhere I go, people are yelling at me. So this starts the Tyrion part of the show that Tyrion is going to, it's done really well, Joe. I agree. It's edited really perfectly the way they cut the scene and cut his discussions. it starts that his plan, and this is a tactic that's often used by law enforcement people and anyone who's being interrogated to figure out who's disclosing information. You tell 3 different people 3 different things, and you see
that are all partially based on the truth and all based on the same story with minor details different, so that when those details come from somebody, you understand which path that it came from, knowing that everybody knew the same story, but everybody had different details about that story.
Right, exactly. In the first one, he tells Pycelle that he is sending Marcella to Dorne to marry Trystane of Dorne. The next is we cut it right over
the Dornish alliance to make them stronger, because they're going to need them, even though their houses have been at odds because of what happened during Robert's Rebellion.
Exactly. Good point. And then we go over to Varys, who is enjoying every moment of this, and it's about Theon Greyjoy, and that
cut so that when he tells him the final of the plan,
the wine.
Like a question from Pycelle, the question actually then comes from Varys, who is now in the room, and it's no longer in Pycelle's quarters, you're in Varys's quarters.
Exactly.
Very well cut. And so it seems like it's still just the same one conversation, but it's now with a different person with a different detail.
And then he tells him that that's Theon Greyjoy, and then it cuts back over same sort of thing to Littlefinger, who is just. And what's also interesting is you see all 3 of their reaction to the situation. Pycelle kisses ass. He just goes immediately into, yes, whatever you say, I won't tell the queen. Don't tell the queen. Varys looks at him, kind of laughing at him. Yeah, he's laughing at him with a smile on his face. And Littlefinger looks at it as an opportunity, and his mouth starts salivating with possibly having Harrenhal.
He's like, but why should I believe you? That was the guy you sent to the wall. That was his.
Yeah, that was Jaina Slint, and you sent him to the wall. And, well, I don't need Jaina Slint. I want you to broker alliance with Lysa Arryn. Lysa Arryn hates me, so I need you to do this for me.
And we'll marry.
Yep. And Littlefinger's like, I can spin this song for you if you want me to. Give me Harrenhal, or Tyrion offers him Harrenhal. Littlefinger tries not to be super excited, but he's like, I'm super excited. And then the mission goes on. So
Tyrion also has trouble backing these arguments. Like, Varys laughs immediately at the Theon Greyjoy, and Tyrion has to cover that and explain why that's going to be a good alliance as well, that Myrcella marry Theon Greyjoy. And it's tough for him, and it's tough for him to do it to Peter Baelish too, but he plays Peter Baelish's greed just right, and that's the deciding factor to get him to buy onto the story as well.
That all said, I think only 2 of the 3 of them believe him. I don't think Varys believes a word he's fucking saying. I think Varys knows right from the beginning Tyrion's full of shit, and he's smiling at him, laughing at him, going, you're cute. I like this. I like this.
I think Peter doesn't believe him either.
No, I think Peter actually is buying into his bullshit for a second. I think I personally, we can disagree about this. I personally think Tyrion plays Baelish in this moment. I
believe, yes. He plays him completely, but it's not that Peter Baelish believes him. It's that Peter Baelish, he gets that golden nugget the carrot held out right in front of him. Harrenhal, a lordship, the Riverlands. Like, that's what Peter Baelish saw. That
knocks him off his game for a second. It knocks him off his game and makes him susceptible to what I think normally Littlefinger, top of his game, doesn't buy this.
Correct.
Littlefinger is not top of his game in this moment. He is distracted by that big giant eyesore that's Harrenhal in this moment. It's like, oh really? Oh, I will sing your song, Tyrion. Anything you say right now. It's very out of character moment for a little. I guess is what I'm saying. He seems off balance for a moment. But so we go over to Tyrion's getting the plan going on, and then we cut back to Renly's camp, inside Renly's tent, inside Renly's pants, inside Loras's pants, as we see a really funny interaction between the 2 of them as Loras is just really still pissed off about the Brienne thing. He's just so fucking can't get over the fact that Brienne kicked his ass. And Renly's loving this. Renly's kind of I want you. You're not tough enough. I want the toughest person protecting me. I love you. You know, you're fun to be with, but Brienne's the one that can keep me safe. Go fuck yourself, Loras. But Loras immediately turns this around to being like, listen, dude, you need to fuck my sister. People are starting to ask questions. You need to fuck my sister, get her pregnant. This needs to happen now. I'm going to leave. Margaery's going to come in. So then we quickly cut over to a scene of Margaery coming in or not coming anywhere. And Margaery disrobes and shows her boobs. Renly is more awkward than I am sitting in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles. He's like or like you know when you're on the bus or public transportation or something and someone's sitting awfully close to you and breathing on you uncomfortably. That's how Renly's acting with fucking Margaery trying to hook up with him. It's a really uncomfortable thing to watch. But she is, I love Margaery, and this is the moment, obviously seeing it the first time, it's her first episode. I love how she handles the situation. She just, well, would it help if my brother came in? Or how about I turn around and you can imagine me being Loras? Okay, let me break this down for you. I know what you're into, but you're going to need to get me pregnant because you're going to have to save your lives for court. That's what you're going to need to do. So why don't we figure out how to do this? Either with me and Loras, he can get you started and fluff you up, and then I can.
I don't understand what he's so put off about here and why he's so taken aback. Like, why didn't Loras prepare him for? Like, Loras is like, listen, go put a baby in you got other things to take care of. Go fuck my sister. He tells him. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why didn't Loras already talk to him about this? Listen, you're gonna have to get it up. I can be there with you. We can make this work.
Yeah. He should have broken it down to him. We should have prepared him for this a long time ago when it really comes down to it.
He doesn't know that you're fucking her brother? Like, this wasn't all arranged through fucking Loras? Like, through the fact that you're actually fucking Loras?
Could it be that Renly is just scared to death of Margaery when it really comes down to it? So it's
girls, yes, but still, like, that's why I'm saying I don't understand how this wasn't already, like, why Loras isn't in the room, why Loras isn't already waiting outside. Loras should know Renly enough to know that this is who Renly is.
No, good point. I mean, I agree with you too. I think I don't understand why Renly is as put off by what she says as he is, knowing that. And I think, no, let me rephrase. I think that I agree with you 100%. I think Loras should have prepared him more for this. And I guess I would have figured that they would have already had this conversation.
And Loras isn't his first either. It's been said that he's been buffing people in court for a while, met other men in court for a while. He's been doing it since he was a boy. He's been interested in other boys. Both his brothers know. Everybody knows Renly is who Renly is. But there has always been a plausible deniability, which is what Margaery says. We'll keep that for you, but whatever you need to get you hard and get you semen inside me, we have to do. We have to do it.
You have to do it. It's best for us, for our future plans. We don't give a shit. You know, we don't fuck with anyone you want. I'm your queen. I just want to be the queen. We don't need to we don't need to do anything. I have my own boys on the side. You have my brother or other boys on the side. Who really gives a shit? Let's figure this out. And I think maybe just from a standpoint of, okay, one, he's so, whether it's known or not, his go-to is to keep his mouth shut about it. Number two, Margaery probably should have handled it a little differently. Instead of taking off her clothes and coming up to him and starting to kiss him and really trying to push that first, she should have sat down with him and had a talk with him about it and been like, listen, we need to do this. Let's figure out how to. She should have started with that, not started with the boobs.
Well, I think that goes to show how much they don't know each other, how much it is a relationship between him and Loras, not him and her. It's completely arranged. She's doing what she does to seduce men. She knows he's gay, but she's probably hoping that there is a little bit of bisexuality there, that he can still be turned on by women.
Right.
That she will be able to seduce him. When she sees that doesn't work, she goes right for the what is possibly very unacceptable. Now I'm going to have a menage a trois with you and your brother. That's exactly what they were doing in the keep already, the brother and sister thing. So it might seem a little crass to his sensibilities, and it also comes off like she might be insulting him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, talking down
really to not. She's trying to be open and
trying to be as warm as she possibly has inside her body.
Right, and straightforward.
And she's cutting through the bullshit, and she is just trying to be like, we need to do this. Can I help you? How can I help me help you? Is what she's basically doing.
I think it ends up being a very touching scene, although it's about all business. It also ends up, I do see where she at least feigns or perfectly pretends that she cares about him and how he feels and all that shit.
I think that goes to the bigger issue that we're talking about here today, Joe, is that in general, he's a really good guy. He cares about people. Since his being young, he really, to go to something that we found out in the future, really helped Brienne out, always was there for Brienne, really helped her on the scene that we see earlier in the episode, helping the guy with his foot problem. He fucked his brother. He's a little greedy, a little hungry, got manipulated a little bit. But in general, Renly is a pretty good person.
Yep.
Is probably the best hearted of all the Baratheons and just a good boy. And she probably sees that, and that's something she can appreciate, and she doesn't want to make him feel uncomfortable in any way if she can help it. Oh, Dave says, love the beard, Dirty Locks.
Oh, thank you.
Joe was talking about his beard before the show. He's liking it. I like it too. I like Joe in the full beard.
It won't last long.
Yeah, I know. Next thing you know, you'll be the baby face McCoy and be scary.
There might be other things in store for my face.
Ooh, hey. Don't talk about what we're going to do in private time, Joe. Anyway, so back to King's Landing, and we get Cersei at 10, it's Cersei crazy level 9.5 here, where she's, yeah, motherfucker, like spinning around, head smoke coming out of the ears. Because I think in this scene, because I love how Tyrion's just kind of sitting there calm as he smiles and realizes that it ultimately was Pycelle, who he probably thought was the rat anyways. So he's kind of happy about it. And he's also happy because he knows what he's telling her is right. And on some level, she does too.
That it's the actual plan.
Yeah. That is the actual thing that he's going to do. And
he knew that it was going to be him too, that who's got a big mouth to Cersei. So it was also, I think, the reason why he chose Pycelle to tell the real plan to. That way he doesn't have to tell it to Cersei and hear the immediate no. She can already know that's the plan, and he can say, ha.
It's already happening. There's nothing you can do about it. It's done. It's done deal, Cersei. And I mean, whether it was a smart idea to send her to Dorne or not, we can talk about that in the future. But it was definitely a smart plan for him to get her out of King's Landing, considering what theoretically is to be coming by the end of the season at King's Landing. What Tyrion is right to say, what do you want her raped? You want her killed? You want her like the Targaryen children? You want all of that for your daughter?
You want what happened to the children that we're sending Marcella to? Do you want that to happen to us? Because that's what's going to happen to them. If what happens is going to happen, if we get invaded, their heads will be dashed against the wall. You know, she'll be raped first, and then their heads will get dashed against the floor and wall. Talk
soon, Lola. Have a great night. And ultimately, I think everything, just to go one more thing before we continue to top it off with Renly, what people in the chat are right. He's a great guy, but not a king. He never should have been filled with those delusions. No one should have even it's just a shame. It's a shame because he might have been a king one day.
Right. There is still time for him to ascend because Stannis doesn't have any male children.
Right. So he might have legitimately became a king one day and might have learned a lot, fighting the fight for a while, actually proving himself to King Stannis or something, or trying to.
What the exact thing that Stannis and Robert had always given him the most shit about has not been the fact that he prefers the company of men, but has always been the fact that he's been unproven, that he has no wars, that he
was a little boy at the time that they were actually fighting the last big fight. Renly was still a kid. He couldn't go to that fight yet. So he never had his in fairness, he never had his opportunity, but he also never went out to try to prove anything really. He just was basically content at being the king's younger sibling and being, hey, I'm just around. Yeah, I'm so happy. And what Robert handed to him after the war and everything like that, it was all gifts. And he was just constantly positive. You're so great. You're so beautiful. You look like young Robert. Everyone always complimenting him. It just inflated his ego and put him in an unfortunate position because he is a smart, charismatic guy that probably could have been useful in the right situation if he had an opportunity to prove himself.
Agreed. And instead, he chooses not to do and prove his brothers wrong by fighting and proving himself in that war. He chooses to usurp the kingdom and have others fight for it.
To usurp the one true king, Joffrey. So Stannis, yeah, Stannis Baratheon. So we get this whole big thing with Cersei going crazy, and we already talked about this. And ultimately, Tyrion says to her what we said before: "What do you want? Your children raped? Your daughter raped?" And hilarious, and you can just tell how much these actors love each other because she just runs up to Peter Dinklage and she pushes his ass.
Oh yeah, on the stairs.
Pushes his ass down, like only in the way that friends could act in a scene. She just or people that actually hate each other and you're filming found footage. She just
watching her push her little brother down. It looked to me, maybe it was partially because of Tyrion's size, but it looked to me like she looked no bigger than him, kinda, even though she was towering over him. When she pushes him down, it was almost like two little children fighting about something at home. Like who's gonna play with the toy next?
LaDonna says that scene where Lena apologized to Peter afterwards, she thought she'd really hurt him. Yeah, it definitely looks like it. It looks like she trusts him a lot and knew she could do that, and she went a little harder than she probably should have.
He trusts her a lot and allowed her to do it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. They live with each other during shooting months on set. They're like really good friends. So it's just a fun situation watching how much they play hate on this show, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and I love this moment between the two of them. And she just pushes him and leaves, and then he leaves. It's just really great. So Noree says she tried to be someone she was never meant to be because she was told by her mother that she should be. Talking about Marcel, I believe. And also asks, doesn't Tyrion get Tommen out of King's Landing in the books? I'm trying to remember that. Someone in the chat can answer that. I'm not positive. I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking on that. It does sound familiar. I think he tries.
I think he tries to send him to Essos.
Yeah, I think he does. Why do I have a memory of that? I have that memory too, but I can't confirm it because it's been a while since I listened to that section.
I think he tries to send Tommen to Essos, but Tommen's brought back.
Ooh, I would love to meet Peter Dinklage. I feel like he wouldn't want to talk about Game of Thrones though at all. I feel like if I met
talk about with him though,
I talk about Nip Tuck. I'd be like, I loved you on Nip Tuck, Peter Dinklage. You're awesome. And I wanted you to be in.
I think I'd talk about. He did a movie where it was like a role playing movie. It was a pretty bad movie, live action role player. There's some it looked like a lot of fun. Like he was so absurd in that movie.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's I really like Peter Dinklage, and I probably wouldn't want to talk about any of his work. I'd just be like, can I buy you drinks all night, please? Okay, so anyway, we go to a dark room lit only by a candle, and we see Theon looking over a letter. And here we go. I'm going to read you guys the letter. Robb, I hope this reaches you in time. Wait.
Robb, I hope this reaches you in time. My father has rejected the offer.
It should be more ratty.
And plans to attack the north, raiding the shores, and taking Deepwood Mont. Mobilize your army and make for the north before it's too late. I'll write again when I can. Theon thinks about it for a second, then he burns it. and he decides not to warn Robb of the incoming attack.
And how can you blame that either? Like he's so. I mean,
oh, Nuri was talking about Sansa. Okay, thank you, Nuri. Sorry, sometimes I read chat out of context.
Oh, what a bastard! Why did he burn the letter? He should have sent it. He should have sent the letter.
Do you think he should have sent the letter?
Again, send the letter and then go do what you're supposed to do. But I mean, don't you know? You must know that your letters are going to be monitored. There's no way to get that.
That's probably why he ended up burning it. I don't think he'd ever completely drink the Kool-Aid. And I think and I'm not going to talk specific, but I think later when we hear from Tyrion later, Theon, blasphemy. We hear from Theon later. Ultimately, he never fully embraces, if you want to call the Greyjoys the dark side. He never fully embraces the dark side. There's always some part of him that thinks he made a mistake in this moment, burning this letter. He never, I think, fully, maybe for a little while right after this, but I think I agree. He burns the letter, and then he decides to fully embrace the Greyjoy stuff as we see him get his baptism by salt water and being welcoming back what is dead may never die, but rises harder and stronger as Theon stands. And he really looks like he believes in what he's doing. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did drink the Kool-Aid. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think this is all a setup. Even giving him one ship at this point, way too much for him. He doesn't know these kind of tactics.
You think you should have put him he should have become Yara's first mate?
Yes, if they're giving him this much shit and look at you little fancy fucking craven boy who buys trinkets instead of taking them and all this shit, the crew isn't going to fucking respect him or listen to him at all. The best thing is either going to be to keep him at the castle while this all happens because you don't even know him or what he's going to fucking do, or send him with Yara with the direct.
Yeah, I say make him Yara's
keel hauled if you don't listen to everything she tells you to do and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's what I say. I say you have him. You have him go with Yara and learn is what you do. You have him. You go shut up, learn to be humble. Yara's gonna be the next leader. You know, the first female leader of the Iron Islands. Follow her. Try to help her out and try not to get in her fucking way, Theon. Get the fuck out of here. But I do have to say that this scene itself was done really well visually, and I really liked how Balon is just looking at it all like he doesn't buy it still. Yara seems a little bit pleased that Theon's going through it. His uncle, who's actually doing the ceremony, seems very pleased that it's going through, and Theon really feels like he's going with it with his heart. I love the visual of the location that they shot at, and I like the music. I think it's a well shot scene. And I wouldn't always say that about all the Greyjoy stuff. I think the Greyjoy stuff in this episode's really cool with the fireplace and with this. When they spend some time and effort into some of the Greyjoy stuff, it's very interesting, and I'm into seeing it and learning about it.
The Greyjoy set is amazing, and I'm a little upset that they haven't followed the storyline a little bit closer.
As someone in the chat said,
storyline, but like the amount of story we get from this branch.
Yo, Vaughn in the chat says it perfect. That was a great scene, but it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, it pretty much all the Greyjoy shit, all the stuff you like, starts going downhill until it just kind of disappears.
Yep, and maybe to rise again, Joe. But it might rise again harder and stronger this coming season.
But his dead may never die.
Yes, it's coming back.
Theon's penis is out there alive somewhere.
I was waiting. It was only about. I had a time clock before the what's.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
No. What rises again harder and stronger? I mean, how is that not saying that the Greyjoys are dicks? That basically says. Okay, what is dead may never die. When your penis explodes, it goes really small, but it will rise again harder and stronger. That symbolizes they don't sow, they're salty dicks. That is basically the description of the Greyjoys. But yeah, exactly. Next. So back on to, we see the fallout from Tyrion's plan. Littlefinger is rip-roaring pissed.
I suppose Harrenhal, that was all off the table too. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I love Tyrion does that thing that like Tyrion's not a kid. I don't mean this in this sense, but I mean every kid realizes at one point when they're arguing with their parents, that at first you argue with them back and forth, but you realize what's going to really drive your parent or your teacher or whatever, the wise ass person you're talking to crazy, is when you just act calm when they're arguing with them. When you're just like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And this is where
Pisses him off and adds fuel to the flame. It's the only time we ever see Littlefinger really mad.
Well, see here, this is where I want to say what I said before. I want to rehash something. When Tyrion tells him his plan, I really don't think Peter Baelish buys it, and I really don't think he actually went and talked to Lysa at all.
Not yet. I don't think he talked to her yet either.
I don't think he did a thing about it. I don't think he really believed it. Ultimately, when he left the room, his decision was probably, fuck that. There's something up his sleeve. I don't know if I buy this. Why is he telling me? Why would he tell me his plans? This is bullshit. And then he sees an opportunity here to try to make Tyrion give him favor in the future by telling him how much he's pissed and how he was on.
So your speculation here is that Littlefinger's not really mad. This is all an act.
This is all an act. This is a play.
I don't know if I agree with you, but I think that's
interesting.
I don't know if I agree with you, Joe, but I think that is very interesting.
Pawn takes rook, but bishop takes pawn.
By your definition, and again, I can't say I 100% disagree with you. I tend to think that that Tyrion played him here, and this is Littlefinger upset for the only time, and he kind of gathers his shit from this point on. He goes, no more fucking around. But I can see your side of it, and that's thinking that's giving Littlefinger, you're giving him maybe the credit that he deserves, that I'm not, that I'm giving a little extra credit to Tyrion in this moment. But I see what you're saying, and again, I'm not sure.
It was a draw, is what I'm saying. I think what it ultimately ended up being, Varys won, because Varys didn't buy it at all. Varys laughed at him. Yeah. Varys won, Pycelle lost, and Peter Baelish and Tyrion came to a draw.
So you think it's a three? You think the three bears thing,
and then
right?
Tried to make a play back, and Tyrion kind of was just like, "Oh well, too fucking bad, get out."
So Joe, you think it's kind
of just drew, but ultimately Tyrion beat Pycelle, lost to the Spider, and drew with Littlefinger.
So ultimately, Tyrion is that it's the three bears story, Goldilocks Tyrion, and one was too strong, too fast, and one is just right, and it seems like the Pycelle one is just right as Bran comes in and announces that they found the filthy old sod and that he's not alone. And but I forgot to mention in this scene, Tyrion says that ultimately, don't get too pissed off at me, Littlefinger. I need you for the next plan. I want you to go to Robb Stark's camp, see Cat, tell her I want Jaime Lannister. How would you like to see your beloved Cat again? And he kind of manipulates him on that one a little bit. And so he is ultimately going to try to use Littlefinger to get Jaime released somehow.
Correct.
Okay, so then we go over to they're going to go ahead with the plan to send it to the Martell. So Pycelle's in bed with a naked girl, and Tyrion barges in and explains that Cersei found out somehow. Pycelle immediately, great scene. Pycelle blames, it's the Spider, in the investment. And Tyrion's like, no, I told the spy. I only told you the thing about the Dorne. And Pycelle's, I only served Lannister. And Tyrion goes,
always served only Lannister.
Only Lannister. Even in the days of the Mad King, I'm the one that convinced Tywin to convinced the Mad King to let Tywin in to sack the city. That was me. I served the Lannisters.
Which means he's a treacherous,
slimy bastard. Yeah. And Tyrion's like, I don't like your beard. cut off his beard.
Oh, he just slices. Oh, that must have hurt. Could have nicked his chin. I didn't see any blood, though, so it was like a nice, close shave. Good job.
Cut off his balls and feed it to the goats. Oh, we don't have goats. Well, make do.
Right. He's talking to the mountain men.
You're talking to Shagga, I think it is. I love that. I just love the look on, I can't say enough how much I love the look on Dinklage's face when he says, well, make do. It's a horrifying scene for Pycelle, but it's played so comedically excellent partially because of Bronn and Shagga there and the way that they find so much joy in fucking up Pycelle. Because so many times we've seen scenes like this from different people's perspectives. Like we'll see it from a person like Pycelle's perspective, not a person like him, but I mean the person being attacked like this, and in the hand of the king, or the security comes in and roughs you up. But seeing it from Tyrion's end and being on that side of it, being on the Johnny Lawrence side as he bullies Daniel's son here, it's just kind of weird, and it's good.
Saying that, did you ever see the video that actually details how Daniel Russo is the bully? It's not just the How I Met Your Mother thing, but there's like an actual YouTube video that really details how Johnny is the one that is fucked throughout that movie. Isn't just like he's like the anti-hero almost, like
yeah, he gets manipulated by the teacher, so it's really the teacher that's the villain with Daniel. So I haven't seen the video, but I'm going to search that out after the show. So Tyrion he basically sends Pycelle off to the Black Cells after he gets some more information about the Jon Arryn situation and about how the different hands of the king that Pycelle has fucked over, and just about everything. And he gets dragged out of there to the Black Cells, and Tyrion leaves a gold coin for the prostitute, and then he realizes that this was just a really extra horrible situation, not to mention having to have to sleep with Pycelle. So she gives her another gold coin. As LaDonna says, Pycelle, the gray sucking cunt.
Now which prostitute is that? Is that one of the ones that gets beaten? Is that the one whose child gets taken? Because she looks familiar. She
looked like the one that got her child taken. One of Robert's bastard's mothers. That's who I thought she was, but I could be wrong. It seemed like the same actress. I didn't do my checks and balances on that, but I agree with you, Joe. She looked familiar. I was like, where she was in a other scene. Was she one of the girls that Shae was training? And
was it from a future scene where she's one of the girls from a Joffrey scene later?
Right, from a Joffrey scene that we're yet to talk about. I don't think so. I think she is the one. That's my baby. My baby. Take my baby back. No, I don't think it's her. I could. Now I'm having doubts, Joe. I had a doubts moment. I'm like, yeah, it's her. No, it's not her. I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I was like. Oh, that's the baby mom. No. That was my reaction when I saw her.
She did look familiar, though. I don't think now that we're talking about it more, I don't think she's the baby mother. I don't think she's the Roberts.
I have a vision of her being her.
Imo says the one who gets beat.
Okay.
So Tyrion sits then with Varys as we get kind of a foreshadow porn of future Tyrion and Varys. It's one of those moments that I'm talking about this a lot today because I can hardly contain my excitement for season 6 of Game of Thrones. But this is one of those moments where, again, it's even more fun knowing the future of these two's relationship and how the two of their relationships progresses. You just see Varys falling in love with Tyrion, essentially falling in love with his mind and how much balls Tyrion has as a person. And Varys says, you like riddle, and also they're balanced. The comedic stylings of Varys and Tyrion start here too. Do you like riddles? Well, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to listen to them.
It's great that Tyrion elevates everybody in a scene, but when he's with certain actors on this show, they perpetually elevate each other to these great moments. Greatly, like I can just see the director saying, "Okay, just keep the cameras rolling. Everybody out of the room. Let them do what they need to do."
And just to be clear, she's the one that gets beat by Roz. Okay, now, yeah, okay. I know the one you're talking about. Okay, so Bronn's a bro. He's awesome. But the strong king and honest lords, Littlefinger might not have made it, and it may have lit Westeros on fire. Yeah, if everything was all healthy and happy, Littlefinger would have had a conniption fit. I cannot deal with this, with everyone being perfect here. So Tyrion sits with Varys. We learned that Varys put Shae into Sansa's service for Tyrion because she wouldn't shut up. And he asked Tyrion if with Janos Slynt and Grand Maester Pycelle gone, should he be worried? And Tyrion says, well, previous small consuls haven't served the hands that well, so I'm kind of cleaning house around here. Varys gets into this elaborate riddle about a sellsword, three great men. There's a rich man, a jazz guitarist, and a sellsword in a room. Each one of them wants the power. Who has the power? Something like that.
Yeah. And what is the answer to that? Power is perceived,
Perceived. Is it
priest is going to save your soul, or the guy
Lord? Then why are kings power, if it's the man with the sword with the power. It's basically a long about sort of way for him to say to Tyrion that you have a lot of power. One small man in his time can cast a giant shadow. And it's a really fun scene. I mean, we can get into it, but Varys asks who's truly responsible for Ned dying. Joffrey, the executioner. Varys thinks powers and shadows. And he's just working around complimenting Tyrion, and that Tyrion, if he keeps up what he's doing, is going to be a powerful man.
Yep.
And is going to be important to him, to Varys. I think Varys is looking at Tyrion as a cog.
Well, he's also saying, though, as big as your shadow is and as powerful as you think you are, remember, you're still a small man.
Madonna. Now that whore could act.
So it's even with all the embellishment and as good of a compliment as it is, and Tyrion definitely sees it as a compliment, it's a little backhanded.
So no, definitely. Oh, definitely. Totally is. Totally is. It's again that Varys is, in my mind, looking at Tyrion as a cog, as I'm going to use you. You little boy. Similar to when the first time, if you're playing basketball against a young cousin or someone you're training, beats you, gets by you for that first time, you're like, a good try, or you kind of don't quite block a shot you could have blocked, and you let them shoot over you. You're like, that was really good, but I could have blocked your shot anytime I wanted to.
You remember those days, Phil? That's so nice.
Fuck off, Joe. I knew it was coming. I'm like setting that up, seeing you stew, seeing you like wait. I saw the wheels cranking in you right there, Joe. That's fucking asshole. So, okay, so the scene now shifts to our end segment of the episode, to Arya sharpening her sword, and we see a.
I will say this though, Phil. You did get through those days very well.
Oh, I could honestly, even when you were on 1 foot and ankles, and I could beat people that you couldn't beat, you still had that master student thing on me. Like, Joe was a good basketball player. I often talk about that, but he fucked up his ankles because he probably pushed himself a little bit too much when he should have. So like it got to a point where he'd kind of play sometimes, but his ankles were all shitty, so he couldn't actually do anything. He's like Jaime Lannister with one hand, and he's like playing around with one hand. But I still couldn't beat him. I could beat like other people would play him. Our friend Steve would play Joe and beat him like 15-0 or something like that. And then you're like, no, Steve beat you a couple of times. Then I'd play Steve right afterwards and beat Steve. And then beat Steve. Anyways, Joe's gonna be like, I never lost. I challenged Purvis Ellison, the NBA star, to a 1-on-1 game.
True story.
And then didn't show up. Anyways, okay. So
I was crazy.
you were scared. So we go to the Night's Watch, and we see recruits, and we see Arya sharpening her sword. We get a really awesome scene between Yoren and Arya, and he offers her some booze, and she says, I don't like the flavor. And he goes, you don't drink it for the flavor, to be honest with you. And you get a look on his face, a look of perspective that he understands Arya's been through a lot of shit. And he's like, you don't see the execution. I made sure you didn't see that. And she's like, no, when I close my eyes, I see them all up there. Joffrey, the queen, and my sister. Yoren says that he saw his brother stabbed through the heart by some guy named William, a real pretty boy named William. He says the funny part is he can't picture his brother's face anymore, but he knew William had nice teeth, blue eyes, dimpled chin. He had one of those butt chins that the girls like. And I say his name. I think about him before bed. One day, William came back in the town, and I buried an axe deep into his head. And then I took William's horse, and I rode to the wall. That'll help you sleep, huh?
Ever since. But it's the whole, and I, saying his name over and over and over and over and over again every night as I went to sleep. And you see that like click in Arya's head.
Exactly. And we talked about that earlier in the beginning of the episode, but that really is the impetus. And I forgot about that in the future, that Yoren was on the show. In the books, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they have that exact same conversation, and Arya just kind of starts doing it. But on the show, they make a point to show that Yoren is the influence of her doing that. So right then we hear a horn sound. Something's happening. Yoren shouts to the recruits, "Get up, you lazy sons of whores! Arm yourselves." He tells
a bunch of Lannister guards that the King's guards had gotten. They didn't have to go all the way back to King's Landing, so Yoren's caught off guard a little here. They're all caught off guard. They're not expecting them to return so quickly.
So fucking quickly. Good point. And there is if you haven't seen it already, Preston Jacobs in What You've Missed in episodes 2.3. If you haven't watched his video of that yet, I highly recommend people checking that out. He talks a lot about the differences between the book and the show and what you missed from the book in the show. But in this part, he specifically talks about how Tywin's men or how they're surrounding Yoren. And so Yoren's in kind of a fuck situation wherever he does. And this is
they're in some sort of keep. They have walls.
Yeah, they're in a keep that has already been ousted by the mountain, I believe. So they're in, it's sort of in the books, it's a lot more detailed and a lot of a longer.
Yoren's expecting it and he prepares for it and he has guards standing. Like it's not quite as much of a surprise.
Big motherfucking Kev, welcome to the live chat. Great to see you in the live chat, buddy. Good to see you live and there instead of after the fact. Even though I do love seeing you after the fact too, but it's good to actually see your name rolling around in the fucking chat. So as we continue to the end of our episode, Yoren says, "Get up, you sons of bitches." He tells Arya and Gendry to run north if things goes bad. Then he returns to shouting crazy fucking things at the recruits. "You fucking whores! There's men out there that want to fuck your corpses."
Yep.
So we see a little blonde kid, Lemmy or whatever's his name. What's his name? Lemmy is God, but what's Demi, Pemmy? What the fuck's this little douchebag's name? I forget. It's a little douchebag that needed something like that. Yeah, I forget the fuck his name is, but he finds Gendry's helmet, which was left behind in the panic, and he kind of puts it on. So outside there's lots of gold cloaks and lots of fighting. People run back and forth, and there are things on fire. The guys in the cages that Arya was talking to, one of them looking very, very familiar, is like, "Help me, a man can fight. A man can fight." And Yoren stomps out, and
it's the 3 extra special criminals that are going
that have to be in a cage, or do they want to be there? So who knows? So ultimately, Yoren stomps out to find out what's going on. The leader of the soldiers, Sir Amory, a bannerman of Tywin Lannister, one of Tywin's major people that are out there, also the mountains out there. But this is one of the groups is out there, and he tells Yoren, in the name of the king, "What king you're talking about? In the name of King Joffrey, drop your weapons." I like to have that clarity to know who the fuck you're talking about first. Then Yoren ends up kind of mouthing off and ultimately gets shot in the belly with a crossbow. But he's a fucking badass of epic proportion and says, "You know what I hate about crossbows? Too long to load." It starts the fight and takes down probably, 7 or 8 Lannister guards.
Oh, he takes them all down.
He
all but the couple needed to bring the prisoners to Harrenhal or wherever.
Lomi is his name. Lomi.
Lumi.
Lami, yes. So anyways, he eventually kills the crossbow man and kills a couple of more before eventually he is finished off. So then we cut over to which is an epic way for Yoren to go out. I don't want to get specifically into it because it kind of all plays out a little differently in the books. So if anyone's to read that, I don't want to spoil it. Let's just say that Yoren does not have quite as glorified of a way of a finish. We actually get
an awesome finish for the show, and he should have taken out more. It should have been a little longer. I wish that this scene had lasted longer, that the fight was a little bit bigger. But then again, in my mind, pretty much, why does anybody care to fight right now? Why aren't they all just yelling and screaming, "That's the one you fucking want, take them"? Because we're all prisoners going to spend our rest of our lives at the wall. If you kill this guy Yoren right now, I get to go free most likely. Hopefully. Maybe I can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I guess the only thing you can think is that a lot of these people are fucking, as you said, criminals, but they're idiots, so no one can really mind that out. From what we've learned of the people that are all there, the only 2 smart ones are Arya and Gendry, and
Yoren.
And Yoren, like the 3 of them, and everyone else is a dumbass. I mean, Hot Pie can cook, but and we got Jaqen H'ghar there, but we don't know him yet. So Arya and Gendry run past the cage, which is on fire, and Arya tosses them an axe to help them get out of the cage.
And
I wonder if that will come back.
Like, Jaqen looks, he's like, ooh.
I wonder if that will come back. Probably not. Lomi. Thank you guys in the chat. Can we all agree that the prize for the coolest crow goes to Yoren? Yeah, absolutely. I think Tyrion already crowned him that Yoren is the coolest crow around.
Yeah, no, he was, and right, even if you when he talks to
Wait, Joe, what the fuck is a Lomi? Sorry, in the words of
yeah, no, even right from when he starts to talk to Ned at the keep before Ned is chopped, like you get the feeling like the little shit he gives Arya then too, like.
Yeah, your favorite, one of your favorite quotes of all of Game of Thrones. You're not a boy. You're a good. You're a good.
Very smart boy, Arya.
A very smart boy.
No, I love that. I love that in the execution scene when he goes and his relationship with Arya is like it's really started like
and
that.
Ultimately, this is what I was talking about earlier with the list. I kind of forgot over time how, not to get too far down in the future, but how this in a weird way does parallel in some ways her relationship with a future character and other future characters, how she's always someone with another person looking after her. And Yoren is almost, he's not like the Hound in any way, but they're both wise asses. They're both kind of funny. They're both personality wise could probably.
One of them is really truly bad, so to speak. I mean, the Hound's done a lot more unspeakable things. He killed the butcher boy, he rode him down and chopped him with an axe and shit. But ultimately, he has to do that, or he gets chopped down with an axe. He's the king's fucking slave, you know. Like, there's nothing. He doesn't have much choice about some of the things he's done. But on the other hand, ultimately, he does have a choice, and eventually, he comes to that decision and makes that choice.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, guys. I think we got a call. I think I may have missed a call. Let's see if we have a voicemail. Yes, we do. Oh, no, we do not. If somebody wants to call, I will do a better job of looking out. I had that particular, for some reason, it did not. For some reason, the phone did not ring, you bastard. Why didn't you ring? I forgot to check to make sure the phone lines are working. But yes, if anybody wanted to call back in, definitely feel free. So, and hopefully the phone will work then. Okay, so Arya and Gendry run past the cage. Arya is stopped by a bald gentleman who takes needle from her. Hot Pie is also grabbed, and they all yield immediately. They want to understand who they want. This place is cursed. Anyways, so one of the guy yells,
"Give me the fucking kid we want." And Arya, everybody's silent, and Arya just kind of looks up and goes, "You want Gendry? You already got him." And
right, we skipped over the part with Lomi where after they round up all
help me, you're gonna have to help me up and carry me, aren't you now?
Well,
you'll hurt me.
You're hinting at it, Joe. I think maybe the result probably would have been the same in the end, but couldn't Lomi have been a little nicer? Wasn't Lomi asking for it?
He was absolutely, he's not a lord's son. He's injured in battle with these fucking people who were trying to kill him. Are you kidding me? You're going to say, carry me? What? No, of course he's not going to carry you. He's going to kill you. Can you have one of them help me up? Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Wish I could be more help. The man you want's right there.
In honor of Big Kev, and not in the best way, what a mother dick. You know, like in the bad way. We got our call. Let's see. Gulu isn't responding right away, so keep it ringing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Hello?
Hey, welcome, buddy. How's it going?
Pretty good. When I was watching your recap, I just realized something. All the guards were looking for Gendry, and yet none of them, like, before they killed anyone, said, hey, this is a dude. Maybe he's the dude we're looking for. Let's question him first.
Good point. It was just dumb assery when it really comes down to it. Egotistical Lannister dumb assery. They were just
also, could you put up some kind of announcement that you're going to be doing these recaps?
Absolutely, dude.
To watch them.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you. We absolutely. This was just. I'll explain that in a minute, but thank you so much for the call. Absolutely. We're sorry. This kind of came out as a last minute type of thing, but usually we will be doing these at least between now and the beginning of The Walking Dead, will be coming back. I haven't told Joe yet, but I can say the next one will be this coming Sunday evening at around 10:30 p.m. We'll be doing episode 4, and for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be trying doing them on Sunday evenings around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time p.m. and try to keep
the schedule.
Yeah, we're going to try to keep to that schedule till Walking Dead comes back in February, and then we'll probably do a couple more through February, and then in March, we're going to start doing just like pre-season 6 of Game of Thrones coverage, like some hype, and maybe one or few more littered in there as well. But for the next bunch of weeks between now and February 14th, look for us on every Sunday evening doing the Game of Thrones season 2 stuff. Okay, so so here we go, and ultimately we kind of already talked through this. Little Blondie gets killed, and as Joe mentioned earlier, Arya is the only one smart enough to just go, hey, yep, you got him, you got him, and unfortunately for her, she also
even got the
helmet
there.
Yeah, the helmet's there as well, which was a good moment right there. Because it just was like that. I mean, that was the luck of the situation.
He loved that helmet.
He loved that helmet. And they buy it and they take them on, and they're taking them off to, I mean, we know where they're going to take them, but they're taking them off to Tywin Lannister at Harrenhal.
And she knows, well, I want to point out that she knows that that's how they were going to identify Gendry, because she heard them say to the guy last week's episode, or the previous episode, we're looking for a blacksmith carries around a bull's helmet. So everybody knew that they were looking for someone with a bull helmet. They all knew they were looking for Gendry because
story checks out. So it ended up working out really perfect. So Joe, now that we're at the end of the episode, you ready for some fun facts? Woo! Fun facts! Okay, Tyrion finds out which of the 3 members of the small council, Pycelle, Varys, or Littlefinger, is spying for his sister by giving each suspect a different unique piece of information and seeing which one of blah, blah, blah. This method is commonly known, and someone said this in the chat earlier, as the Barrian meal test, or the canary trap. The later term was coined by Tom Clancy and has been used in real intelligence agencies for decades. In the novel, Renly's guard is not his King's Guard. It's called the Rainbow Guard. Tyrion seeks the care of Grand Maester Pycelle for his constipation. Pycelle describes Tyrion's condition as insacabrious. It's a reference to the science fiction author John Hobark Vance, who George R. R. Martin greatly respects. The title of the episode was Dead May Never Dies, taken from a prayer used in the Iron Islands by the drowned god. The novel doesn't reveal if Theon has ever any intention to forewarn Robb of the Iron Man's invasion. The first episode in which Tommen has speaking lines. According to the novel, Arya, Gendry, Lomi, Hot Pie, and Weasel managed to run away from Amory's soldiers. Later, they were caught by Gregor Clegane's by the mountain. Weasel got away. Lomi was murdered, while Arya, Gendry, and Hot Pie were taken to Harrenhal.
But this is an easy way to sum that up and save time.
Yeah, no, I agree. At certain things that they change, I agree 100% why they change it for a television show. It makes sense because TV is just a different kind of medium that you want to highlight things, and they're trying to save time and save shit. So but as George R. R. Martin often likes to think, those are the butterfly effect, though, and that's what's changing the story down the line. Every little thing that you change.
Right, but this little thing doesn't have to really change anything. But yes, I absolutely agree with him that does happen when you change little things. But there are some little things that, and they can especially have consequences when the story is not even finished being written.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So according to the novel, Lomi was not injured by an arrow to his knee, but by a spear thrust to his calf. According to the novel, Amory was not looking for Gendry. He picked up a fight with Yorn's band without any provocation. According to the novel, it was not Polliver, but Rafford, aka Raff Sweating, who murdered Lomi. There was no mention of Yorn's family relatives in the novel, and the trivia item below may give away a spoiler. But pop singer Lily Allen, Alfie Allen's sister, was originally to play Yara Greyjoy, but she refused the part because she knew that there would have to be some groping going on, and that would
have been awful. Are you kidding me? Why would they do that? Like, yeah, okay, we'll give you the part. Great, we'll give you this part. What sick producers are you?
And so, Joe, I think this is as good a time as any. Let's call it. Joe, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about this episode of Game of Thrones.
No.
We don't have to wait too long. We will talk again about Game of Thrones on Sunday. Everybody in the chat, thank you fucking guys and girls so much for joining us today. Tim, Nori, LaDonna, Jenny, Sam. Awesome, Sam, you are back. Great to see you. Hope your day in class. Oh, Bass, Hote. So many new people. Add a fan. Timo. Oh, all of you guys were so excellent in the chat today, as usual, pushing the discussion. It's so much fun just to sit here, and sometimes I get distracted about the chat, and I just want to like throw random things that are even out of context. I'm like, the chat, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. Just because I want to put it out there because you guys are so totally awesome.
Yep.
And I want to also thank everyone that joined me last night for that experiment of drunkitude, watching the Golden Globes. I really do appreciate that, and also appreciate all you guys that have been checking out Joe streaming on Dirty Issues Game.
Which reminds me, Phil, I have a
challenge.
You want to play a game of football tonight?
The football is going to happen after 10 o'clock, about 10:30 this evening. Joe and I will be playing on Dirty Issues Gaming. We will be playing a game of Madden. So if anyone's interested in watching that, please subscribe to Dirty Issues Gaming. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend. You can follow me on Twitter at IGotIssuesMan. Follow Joe at DirtyLocks. Check out Joe and his dad's website at G4etc.com. You can see it.
Comics, etc.
G4comics, etc.com. A common mistake I make. And if you ever want to call and leave a voicemail, 781-990-8509. Check out issuesprogram.com for everything that we've done in the past. In time for dinner. Exactly, Critch. I need to go feed my dog. Jenny, thank you. Love everybody in the chat. We are so lucky. We say it a lot, but we're so lucky to have all you guys.
Yes.
And so lucky for all your support.
Doing this without you, but having you here makes it so.
Exactly. We be babbling about this shit anyway. And yes, Tim, I do have a voicemail, 781-990-8509. Oh, do I have a voicemail right now? Oh, 1 second before we end the show here. Before we end the show, let's play one last voicemail. Let's see.
Think of a question. Did Arya just learn that they were just looking for someone with a bull's helmet and never told Gendry, and it was just coincidence that someone else had that helmet at the time? Or did Arya say, hey, yo, they're fucking looking for you. You better give this helmet. You better, like, get rid of this helmet because, you know, you get killed if they find you. And that was, like, a plan. I'm just kind of curious.
What do you think, Joe?
I think everybody heard it. That information was given out when Yoren was being a badass and held the knife to the King's Guard or whoever's crotch and said, funny thing about an artery, nobody ever pays attention to the little ones down by you under your knickers, which I might nick, and then you'll be all shit licked and fucked up with the stick in your
And one last question, Big Kev wants to know, will Arya get a new sword because she can still use needle but only has another weapon, not her main one? Mother, dick. Oh, I think Arya will always come back to needle. I think that will ultimately always be her go-to comeback weapon. And because she's a Bravosi and
boomerang.
Her boomerang, yes, it's always going to come back for her. Anyways, love all of you guys. We will be back. Phil, you have a voicemail.
Nobody has to tell Arya not to lose her sword twice.
Good one. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Talk to you later, Joe. See you tonight.
Peace.
Raiders, Patriots, baby. Raiders, Patriots, it's on. Talk to you later, buddy.
Snowball.